Hey folks, Mike Stenhouse back with you in the dugout. You might notice I'm not in my normal dugout uniform, no cap, no white shirt. Um, I wasn't going to do a patriotism in the Bible segment this week, but I'm just about to leave for a funeral, and it got me thinking back upon Sunday's readings, and I went back and looked at them again, and I think I wanted to share that with you. So I'm just doing this on the fly and wanted to get this out to you. You've got a lot of people out there who enjoy these segments. Again, I'm not the most religious man in the world as far as following things that the church tells me to do, but I do have a very strong faith, and I do believe that the Bible has important lessons for us as Americans, and the parallels I think there are what I try to bring out in these segments. I must confess that this all started with me listening many years ago to one of those evangelical preachers, and I'm of course I'm blanking out on his name right now, but it doesn't really matter. And as I was listening to him, he would do such a good job, I just started thinking, if every time he says, Joel Osteen was his name, if every time he says God, you substitute America, and if you every time he says something like, the Holy Spirit or God's will be done, you think of freedom and liberty, and you think, and every time he would mention something like salvation, you think of prosperity that American promise. If you just interchange those terms, you could apply the same message that Joel Osteen and the Bible, for that matter, teaches to religious folk. Just substituting those words is a great a message for Americans, and how we should go about being good citizens and prosperous neighbors and doers in this country. So I'm going to share with you the reading right here. So I decided to take it to a new level and actually share with you the reading. This is from Isaiah 25 at our Sunday Mass, and in red is where I've substituted kind of American constitutional terms or American patriotic terms. That's why we call it patriotic in the Bible. So Isaiah 25, praise to the Lord, praise to America, right? Where God has been a refuge for the poor, so has America. America is the place where the disadvantaged and the underprivileged have an opportunity to succeed like no place else in the world. Whether they're in distress, as you can see, America can provide you shelter, right? Shelter from the traditional conditions that many people still live in the world, and that the settlers, were looking to escape from the European monarchies. And then it goes here, for the breath of the ruthless. Those are the tyrants, in my agree. There's like a storm driving against a wall, just like a storm is relentlessly pounds against the wall. But if that wall is strong, it can withstand it. So do the tyrants. So do those who want to rule over us and not grant us our constitutional liberties. So are they constantly pounding against us and our American way and our American Constitution. On this mountain, the Lord Almighty, and I'll say the pursuit of the American dream, can prepare a feast, can actually allow you to have a feast, to actually become prosperous with the best of everything. I mean, where else? I mean, it's in America that the rags to riches moniker and line came to be. That's the American way, and it can happen here on this mountain where our constitutional freedoms reside. On this mountain, he will destroy the shroud of tyranny. I should be in red right there. I'm using the American terms. You can read the religious terms here. Tyranny that seeks to constantly enfold all people and cover all nations. On this mountain, the United States Constitution and the freedoms and rights afforded by it can destroy that continual effort of tyranny that pounds against us. For surely they will say on that day, this is America. We trust in God. That's our motto, right? We trust in God, and he saved us from tyranny. This country, right? We trust in this country. Let us rejoice and be glad. In other words, let us live free and prosper in his salvation or with our own rights and freedoms. The hand of the Lord, which is the promise of liberty and the hope and the opportunity for prosperity, will rest on this mountain, will rest in America. But Moab, the totalitarians, the tyrants, but Moab will be trampled in their land as straw is trampled down in the manure. If we live, folks, if we live to our constitutional ideals, if we elect officials who will respect our Constitution, who will not infringe on our rights and liberties, who will not infringe on our ability to live free and prosper, we will indeed trample, as straw is trampled down in manure, we will trample those tyrants and those who wish to impose their totalitarian wills upon us. It's right there in the Bible. It's easy. It's easy to, it's so much easier for, I got to read the Bible someday. I get the readings at Mass, but there's so many great lessons in the Bible that pertain directly to American patriotism. So I hope you enjoyed this segment of patriotism in the Bible. Again, I apologize for being out of uniform, but again, on the way to a funeral. So thanks for tuning in.